We're casual. Two Cows Gaming fans, we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we are taking a epic champion from the Barbarians faction and seeing if we can build a team around her to make her a little bit more effective. The champion in question, we are going to be taking a look at Suwai the Firstborn. Now, this is a champion that I pulled on a Shard event. She is a Void champion, which is kind of nice. We're going to just go over her kit real quick, and then we're going to take a look at the build that I have for her. And then we're going to build a team around her for a couple of different areas in the game and talk a little bit about where you might be able to get a little utility from her. So first up, she is an attack champion. Her attack is 1343, not too bad. Defense is 1024. Which is kind of nice to have an attacker that has a little bit of defense there, so she's not quite as squishy. You're still going to want to keep an eye on that as you're building her, because that could be a factor later on. Speed of 96, and you really want it up around 100 when you're starting, but I've got mine built in a way that you get a little bit of speed. Crit rate of 15%, crit damage is 60%, and she has a base resistance of 30. So that's kind of her raw stats. Her A1 is a single target attack that has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. She also places a 50% increased attack and 30% increased damage buff on her if that attack kills an enemy. She also, has, if you book her, she gets some additional damage there to add to her attack. Her A2 attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. This books up to 100% with all books, and it also gets a 3-turn cooldown. Kind of useful, especially if you're going against PvE where they have some attackers that are kind of annoying. Lastly, her A3 attacks 1 enemy. She has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. That also books to 100% with a 3-turn cooldown. So overall, not too bad. Two abilities that have 3-turn cooldowns, and then some nice utility there in her A1. Now, the way that I built mine is I built her trying to make her as versatile as possible. I'm only going to be using her for PvE, namely dungeons, maybe in campaign, and definitely in faction wars. Those are kind of the 3 main areas. If you're an early game account, you could probably get away with using her in arena, but I wouldn't recommend it because there are better arena champions out there. But let's just take a look at how I have my Suwai built. Now, I tried to build her in farmable gear or forgeable gear, so that way she is, you can gear her out if your account maybe isn't as advanced as mine. Yes, I do have a couple of mythical pieces on her, but again, this is gear that you can either forge or farm depending on where you're at with your account. So I have her in 2 pieces of crit damage gear. I have her in a shield and a weapon. As you can see, I have put glyphs on these to kind of boost her attack and her speed. The shield, again, speed is kind of a big deal for her. And accuracy, I've built her with 346 accuracy. As far as the other gear, I chose Swift Parry because you get 18% speed and crit damage of 30% with 4 pieces equipped, and you can forge this from day 1 in the forge. As soon as you unlock the forge, you can start forging this gear. I went kind of heavy on the speed aspect of her, so when you look at her stats over here on the right, I have her at 208 for speed. I built her with 100% crit rate, 217% crit damage, resistance of 210, and as I've already said, accuracy of 346. Now, her attack, I want to push this higher. Right now, she's at 3721. Now, that doesn't include area bonuses for Arena or Live Arena or Tag Team Arena or any of my Great Hall bonuses. But if you look at the different like areas, that jumps up to 3,800. Let's go take a look at Dragon's Lair. Again, 3,700. Where else would I use her? I think I would probably use her in Ice Golem's Peak. No change there. I try to do all of my different areas balanced. Doom Tower, again, balanced. So that's where you're going to primarily use her. Is just PvE. I wouldn't recommend taking her into Arena. She's just not built for Arena. But we are going to build a team around her. The team that I came up with are all free champions, or champions that you earn just by playing the game. And we're going to take her in against Dragon. We're going to start with stage 20 just to see what she can do on stage 20 Dragon, because you want to use her as a farm champion. Not hard. We'll go to normal, stage 20, and we're going to clear all this out of here. We are going to use Suwai. We're going to use her as our attack. Bear with me here. Actually, we'll just do a search for him. There she is. Now, I do my team layouts a little differently. In this case, you're going to want to have a defense champion. We're actually going to use Drex to do that, just because he's so good and he brings burns. We'll move him over here. And then we will use Syl. She's a hit point champion. You get her, I want to say, on day 180. But she's very useful. She has a revive. She also does some crowd control things that are kind of nice. We are going to use Mithrala because she brings hexes. You get her through Hydra. And we're going to have her be our lead for accuracy to kind of boost that accuracy for Suwai. And then the last champion we're going to throw in here is going to be Thea, the Tomb Angel. You get her through Doom Tower Hard. She's the first champion that you get from the Doom Tower Hard. And then after we do this, these two areas that I want to show you, then we're going to go actually look at a couple of the builds that I have so that you kind of get an idea of how I built these teams. But first up, we're going to just see how she does against the Dragon. We're going to do a super raid just because I want to get the extra loot. And hopefully things go according to plan. Right away, you get the hexes from Mithrala. Thea can actually stack her damage against enemies that have hex on them. But we'll go into her kit a little bit later and kind of talk about why I chose her over other potential champions. But we cruise through that first wave nice and easy. Second wave, we're going to struggle probably a little bit. Because it's a little bit tougher wave. But what I really want to pay attention to is the Dragon. So we'll come back to that once we're in Dragon. So I'll be back in a minute. All right, so here we are. We're back at Dragon. Just gonna see how long it takes to take down. We're at 1:15. Now this is stage 20 Dragon normal. This is the most efficient way to farm gear, especially for different events like Dragon tournaments and whatnot. Dungeon divers, it's a good balance, and you get a good return on your speed investment or your energy investment. But as you can see, they're already whittling down the Dragon. We're getting a lot of debuffs. We got the Hex. We got the HP burn. We just put a Smite on it. or sorry, Brimstone. Poisons from Mithrala. Attack down. I mean, we're starting to stack some pretty good debuffs on the dragon, and it's whittling it down. Now, these are all free champions that you get just by playing the game. Some of them are time locked. You got to play the game and log in so many days to get them. Others you buy from the bazaar, namely Drexar. You get shards for him from the bazaar. Althea, or Thea, the Tomb Angel, you get from playing hard mode Doom Tower. You need to collect 100 fragments for her. But again, they're all with the exception of Suwai, they're all characters that you get just by playing the game. Mithrala you get from Hydra. Okay, so 223, 85 turns. As you can see, she's not going to be your lead damage dealer. But she's functional. She was never in trouble. Now, again, full disclosure, my Suwai has full awakening. I just got lucky on a soulstone pull. And it happened to be her, and I happened to have her, so I decided to build her. But let's go out here, and we're going to try the highest level of dragon and see how long it takes to get through it. We may fail. I don't know, but we're going to give it a try. So here we go. I don't anticipate going through the waves as fast as we did in the previous level, but maybe we'll get lucky. I'll be back when we get to the dragon. So as you can see, the team is really not in a lot of trouble, mainly because of all of the buffs from Mithrala and Syl keeping them alive. So then that just allows the rest of the team to do their work. You get the hexes from Mithrala, the poisons from Mithrala, the HP burns from Drexar, and Suwai just kind of adds a little bit of extra damage, adds that weaken, and that allows Thea and the rest of the team to kind of clean up a little bit. Now, if I were going to build her with better gear, I would start looking at trying to push that attack north of 6,000 so that when she hits, she really smacks. I'd also try and push the crit damage above 250. But I was just using gear that I had available so that, you know, you could see what a very basic build can do. Again, this is Hard Dragon 25, so it's, or I mean, Normal Dragon 25, so it's not like it's an easy level. So you could make her function as one of your PvE champs. Now, another area where I would recommend using her would be Faction Wars, if I'm being completely honest. If you don't have a Barbarian attack champ, now the Barbarian Crypt isn't unlocked right now, but she's a good attack champ if you don't have anybody else to help you get through Faction Wars. Again, I stress, I would not use her in Arena, but let's jump in to the Ice Golem and see what she kind of does there. Again, we're going to start out with stage 20. We're going to take Taya out of there, and we're going to bring in Suwai. Remember, Suwai is a Void champ, so we'll use her. Taya was the champ that I did the video on a couple of days ago. There she is. Now let's just see what she does. Okay, so again, With the exception of Cardiel and Suwai, these are all champs that you get just by playing games. Playing the game. You get Mithrala, you get Lydia by completing all of the Faction Wars missions and 3-starring them, and then Eric's is a login champ. I don't remember when you get her. I think it's 1 year. But let's just see what they can do. If you could sub in a different champ, a different free champ for Cardiel, but we're going to leave him there just because of the allied attack. I could put in Mikage, but that would be affinity averse, or adverse. So we're going to actually just leave it as is. They're all, Eric's is blue. He's a spirit or a magic champ. So he has a little bit stronger attack against spirit enemies. But we're going to just try this and see how they do. I'm expecting similar results. I think they'll clear it in maybe 2-3 minutes. But again, it's Ice Golem 20. So you're getting the maximum efficiency out of this level as far as gear and energy used, which is very handy when you're trying to complete different tournaments, different events. You want to get the most out of your energy expenditures. But here again, as you can see, no real trouble clearing the first wave. Second wave is not that bad. Suwai is kind of getting in there, poking a little bit, doing a little bit of damage here and there, setting up Eric's to do more damage with her big bombs. The nice thing about Eric's is she's got the ally defense, which keeps them from taking tons of damage, and that'll come in very handy against the Ice Golem here. I also have Eric's built-in stone skin gear that's farmable from Hydra. So I'm not using any wild gear that you get from like Clan versus Clan or even Curse City. I'm sure I do have a couple of pieces of Merciless on one of the champs here. I don't remember which one. But again, I'm trying to use gear that's easily farmable so that even if you're maybe an early to mid-game player, you have a chance of building these champs out and being effective. As you can see, the hit points on the Ice Golem are, I won't say melting, but they are doing a good job of tamping it down. Now, the big thing here is I don't have a natural reviver on this team. Lydia can do a revive if certain conditions are met, and we have a revive on death for Cardiel, but that's it. So we really need to make sure we're getting healing from Mithrala and we're getting ally protection from Eric's to keep this going. One way around that is you could build Suwai in either lifesteal or regeneration or even bolster. Although I will say this about bolster, you actually have to pay to get that gear. It's not something that you can just farm. You get that from the Forge Pass, and that creates survivability. But there again, 2 minutes. 2 minutes farm on Ice Golem stage 20. Let's go back out here. We're going to see if we can do it on stage 25. And I have a sneaking suspicion that things are going to turn out the same. The only change we're going to make is we're going to take Eric's out, and we're going to take out Cardiel, and we are going to put in Drexthar, and we're going to put in Mikage. Again, these are free champions, so yeah, you have to do a little bit of work to fuse Mikage, and you have to spend some coin in the bazaar to get Drexthar, but these are champions that you can get just by playing the game. So let's see what happens here. Now, the reason I chose Mikage is in her base form, she does have an ally attack, which is going to be useful against the Ice Golem. Drexthar has burns, which is always nice. I also have him in a bolster set so that there's healing on him, and then he self-heals a little bit anyway. But he also has a shield that starts with the group right out of the gate, right out of the first couple of turns, so that way they're protected. So that helps with the survivability. But as you can see, nobody's in real trouble yet. Going a little bit slower through stage 25 on Ice Golem, but they're still getting through it. And as you can see, Mithrala's got everybody petrified. No real issues. We're 42 seconds in, and we're about to kill off Draco. And then it'll move on to the next wave. Now, I don't anticipate being able to complete this level of Ice Golem, but I might be surprised. We'll see. If we can get close, that just means I got to build a little bit better. But what scares me is I don't have a revive. I don't have a reviver this time at all. Again, Lydia can do a revive, but only if certain conditions are met. So as you can see, struggling maybe a little bit with the second wave. And that would indicate to me we're going to have some trouble with the golem when we get there. But Suwai is doing her own thing. She's going to drop here in a minute without a heal. Oh, there's some shields. That'll help. But again, to contribute to her healing, you might want to put her in regeneration or lifesteal to increase that survivability. Even Immortal. Immortal is gear that you get from fighting clan boss. That gives you a 3% per turn regen. So that's another way to increase survivability if you don't have a lot of healers or you don't have a lot of revivers on your team. But we'll see what happens here. I don't think we're going to be able to beat the Ice Golem. If we do, I'll be shocked. Just because I don't have a reviver in here. And my crowd control is kind of suspect at this point. I might have been better served leaving Cardiel just for the healing. And maybe bringing in Godseeker and Eerie so that I have a revive. But as you can see, Lydia's dropping debuffs left and right. Suwaya's got some debuffs out there. What we need is Mithrala to drop her big shield. And there goes... Ooh, that was close. Got unkillable. That was from the gear that I got her in. I got her in that Swift Parry gear, so I get an unkillable. 50% chance that triggers an unkillable when a fatal blow hits her. I don't think we're going to get that luck this next time around, but maybe we'll be lucky. Yep, there it is. She just dropped. That's okay. I think we'll win, but just based on the strength of the rest of the team. Nothing to do with Suwai. Because we've got healing galore on Drexthar. We also have Mithrala with her shields and strengthens. And so I think we'll be okay. I don't think my Drexthar is quite tough enough to solo this level, but he's close. But as long as that burn stays up and the brimstone stays there, I think we'll get it. Nope. Healing blocked right there. That's not good. Another attack. Okay, got that. There it is. Cleared it. By the skin of our teeth. Now here again, she's not your main damage dealer, but she did outdamage Mikage. She did 1.38 million. And that's without her gear being like peak gear. So I think you can get a lot of versatility out of Suwai, especially if you're an early game player. Build her with as high attack as you can. Build her with some defense. Get that accuracy up. Get that speed up, and you'll be okay. We're going to go to her build, and I want to talk a little bit about her blessing. So as you can see, I have a 6-star blessing on her. Oh, and I don't have any of her masteries. That'll make a big difference too. I have Crushing Rend. Now, I think you can make a case for Heaven Cast, to be honest. I think that's... I've been playing with Heaven Cast on my Thalin and on my He-Man, and I gotta be honest, I think Heaven Cast is a better blessing than Crushing Rend. But I put... when I got her, I put this on her way back when because Crushing Rend was kind of the meta for attackers. But again, 1% defense ignores 1% defense for every 50 levels, whereas with Heaven Cast, and I'm not going to change it, but I'm going to show you. Heaven Cast actually increases the damage inflicted by this champion according to the number of buffs on them. Now, if you remember, in those rounds, there were a ton of buffs on these champions. And I think if you build a team like that, where you're going to get a lot of constant buffs, you're going to want to change it to Heaven Cast. I just feel like when you're building a team like that, where you're trying to achieve one thing, and there's a lot of buffing going on to increase the longevity of that team to finish those tasks, Heaven Cast is kind of the way to go. But that's just my opinion. Take it for what it is. Maybe you love Crushing Rend. It's hard to ignore the fact that there's ignored defense, but I think there is a strong case to be made for equipping her with Heaven Cast as well. If there are any other heroes you want to see me do a write-up for or a deep dive on, just let me know. Again, Suwai the Firstborn, if you have her sitting in your vault, maybe give her a shot. Maybe you can build her a little bit better than I did. Again, you want to get that attack as high as possible. You want to get her speed up there. You want to get her accuracy as high as possible. And you want to make sure she's built for crit damage. So you want to have 100% crit rate and as much crit damage as you can possibly muster. And I think you'll get a bit of little return on her. She's not going to set the world on fire. She's not going to be as good as, say, a Gala long braids or somebody like that. But as far as epic barbarians go, if you put her in your team for faction wars, you can at least get some value out of her. That's all I got for you today. Hope everybody has a great day, a great rest of the week. Be safe, be kind. Remember, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, you do matter and you are loved. I'm John Cow. Check out the next video, or I'll see you in the next video. And if you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe and like, and also drop any other heroes you'd like to see me work on. I'm approaching extreme late game with this account, and so I've got quite a few champions that are available for me to build. I don't have them all, obviously, but I got quite a few. So just let me know what you want to see me build. Other than that, take it easy, everybody.